Hi, everyone, and welcome to our call today. My name is Diana. I'm with Oracle Global Customer Programs. We have a couple of guests today. We have Yuri Markovich, Manager of Data Architecture with Agilysys, and Jennifer Frey, Business Intelligence Analyst. And they will talk about Agilysys' use of Oracle Business Intelligence. As our operator said earlier, the lines are placed on mute right now. There will be a short presentation of the company and their use of Oracle products, and then a very informal question and answer session. Thank you. Yuri, the floor is yours.
Thank you. And again, welcome everybody. Thank you for joining us. I'm Yuri Markovich in Agilysys, Cleveland, Ohio. I'm data architect here, and I'm responsible for BI implementation in Agilysys. Structure of our call is I'll speak a couple minutes and give you background about Agilysys and our ERP implementation and BI implementation, just on a very high level. Then Jennifer Frey, our business analyst, will talk more about actual implementation, what we did, what modules we implemented. And at the end of presentation, I'll talk a little bit about our lessons learned, because we think it makes sense to share our experience, especially we believe it's a little bit different than in a normal IT project. Okay, so Agilysys is a leading provider of IT solution to corporate and public sector customers. With some special expertise in select markets like hospitality and retail. We have headquarters in Cleveland, Ohio, and offices and branches in North America, Canada, United Kingdom, in Asia. So our ERP story. About April 2009, we started ERP implementation. And it's supposed to replace our legacy system and re-implement, part of this is replacement of legacy system and re-implementation of our financial modules, which we had before. At the beginning of the process, it was a business requirement that we need to have robust business intelligence system. Because everybody knows that standard Oracle reports does not provide level of, if you wish, knowledge or information required, especially for upper management. Our decision was to implement Oracle solution, OBIEE, as we think it's the most robust and would fulfill our business requirement. The biggest question we had at that time, when to do this. We had option do it, probably go live together with Oracle ERP solution, or do it a little bit after that, in a couple months. Our decision was to do it, we chose second option. So we decided to go live with BI implementation about 3-4 months after we go live with ERP. Both options have advantages and disadvantages. The biggest disadvantage of our solution was that we had to develop some kind of temporary solution for business to survive these 3-4 months until we give them BI implementation. Biggest advantage is that we get much more data to test and we get like a real running system. So it's a very high level of, again, we went live with Oracle ERP on April 1st, 2010, and we went live with our BI solution on August 1st, 2010. So it was 4 months delay or 4 months lag between ERP and BI. Like I said, we decided to go with OBIEE. It was kind of easy solution. Our second problem was to find a partner who can help us with this implementation. It was much more complex process. Our final decision was we chose KPI partners to help us with this, and I would say as of now we did not regret about this solution. It was very successful. So now I think, Jennifer, you can start and talk a little bit more about what we actually did with BI implementation.
Okay. More specifically about which analytics Agilysys had purchased when it first went to buy the BI suite of applications. We purchased the financials, which include accounts receivable, accounts payable, general ledger, and a profitability type area, as well as supply chain and order management, projects, and procurement and spend. So that's what we had on the table for us to choose from when we started through the process with KPI, with a BI workshop and requirements gathering session to determine what we were going to implement in our phase 1. So one other thing I wanted to point out was that along with that purchase of analytics, we also have kind of the 3 layers of the BI platform. We did purchase the OBIEE application itself with the dashboards, answers, as well as the repository with all of the logical layers for our business rules and requirements, as well as the data warehouse with the star schemas. Specifically, what we're using right now for the ETL, extract, transform, load process, are the Informatica mappings that also coincide with the different financials, order management projects, etc. So again, when we started with our requirement gathering, it was a little more of an informal process. As we've noticed, the traditional project management of a BI rollout is a little more challenging when you have such a large requirement that covers many different functional areas as well as different levels of management and users. So the result of our discussions is that in our phase 1 of the BI implementation with the OBIEE solution was a custom subject area with custom dashboards. Now, we realize that this is not a standard approach. Many companies probably tend to go through and implement the out-of-the-box analytics and then customize from there. But based on some of our specific requirements, we had decided that Agilysys needed a lower level of detail than the out-of-the-box general ledger analytics provided, as well as a couple of more specific financial metrics with recognized revenue based on our business requirements and our business model, as well as some transactional margins to be able to deliver deal-based information, and that used also PO cost, which wasn't necessarily part of the out-of-the-box financial solution. So we actually appreciated KPI partners and their expertise in guiding us to use a lot of the out-of-the-box structure for certain fact tables and dimensions and such, and have that come together with some extensions and customizations so that we could actually provide this solution and meet our business requirements. So we took pieces, parts from the revenue and cost of sales information or cost of goods sold, as well as some sales invoice information. And that's what created our custom subject area, which we focused on revenue and margin from a financial perspective. Now, part of the advantages of being able to use some of the pre-built structures in the data warehouse, the mappings, and the different fields in OBIEE is that we could also use some of the pre-built aggregates to enhance our performance on these dashboards, and it also helped to shorten some of the development time because, again, we were augmenting a structure that was already in place. Now, our dashboards in this custom subject area, they were focused to upper and mid-level management using the charts, graphs, and tables in many different structures. And specifically, we also went live with the answers portion to a large number of super users and financial analysts at the same time. So part of our challenge was to explain to those who would be our super users with many more fields than were provided on the dashboard reports to get them educated on the data that was available and how they could use that ad hoc reporting tool, as well as educate our upper management on the data that they were seeing in the financial realm. So part of the advantages that we had from implementing the BI tool is that we started to move some of the more standard reports that were typically provided at month end and out of Excel into the dashboard structure so that it could be standardized and delivered immediately to the upper and mid management. And more importantly, once you built the structure of the dashboard, the data was refreshed, and it was a change from having to take data dumps from our ERP system, manipulate in Excel, and republish every time that the numbers had changed. So that was a big advantage. Another one is that, again, once you have the testing and the verification of the data warehouse, you actually get more comfortable that the data is available and you can slice and dice in many different ways. So that was a big partaking, so that you didn't have multiple reports coming out directly from the ERP system that could have been developed in slightly different ways. The database structure, we already had the pre-joins and business logic built in the standard way that was decided by the business. Again, one of our other challenges with having that access to answers for a larger group of people, the analysts and other functional area super users, is that you still have the possibility of coming to the table with two different numbers because you filtered on different criteria. The dashboards are really what is right now centrally controlled by our BI group here at Agilysys, so that there is that cohesiveness and that standardization, and doesn't change quite as much as the other reporting that can come out of our data warehouse.
So it was a very important step to our single point of truth concept we are trying to implement. We are not there yet, but we are trying.
Absolutely. Now, with our custom subject area, as I had mentioned, we did have a custom set of dashboards. The first rollout went in August of 2010. We then came back with a second rollout of dashboards, so changes to the dashboards that, based on feedback after people had gotten used to the tool and started using and looking at it, we found that there were a few things we could improve upon, and we will continue to as our business needs change. Now we're in a phase, actually we're in phase 3. So phase 2, we had to change our basically how we're going to implement. We had a new challenge. All of these analytics that were sitting there out of the box, off the shelf, we needed to figure out what the next big business need was. We chose to implement project analytics next. Now, our approach was to implement out of the box with some minimal customization so that we could meet all of the critical reporting needs, and really the only piece that we had to add was with our special sales group hierarchy for our organizational structure. We did actually customize a lot of dashboards for project analytics specifically, but maintained the out-of-the-box subject areas as well as the underlying structure in the business layer. So we turn to next our order management analytics. We're going to use the same approach. Again, the pre-built out-of-the-box analytics gets you, in some cases, 90% there. So with minimal customizations, you can deliver to the business some information that they may or may not have had in the first place, which is a big win for everyone across the organization. So with that, I'm going to switch back to Yuri, and he can also highlight a few more of the lessons learned or challenges we had along the way in our implementation.
Yeah, like I mentioned before, I'd like to share some, ideas or some conclusions we made from our implementation. In general, very successful, but obviously when you're looking back right now, probably you would do something different. So just a couple items. One very important thing we noticed that BI team, if its implementation like our implementation was, when it was like big ERP implementation at the beginning, and then BI team has to be involved in ERP implementation. It would save a lot of time and understanding and back and forth and mistakes, just miscommunications. It's very, very important. So BI team participate in even requirement gathering and testing and should know overall design of ERP system by the time when BI implementation starts. Also, it's very important item is support of upper management, business upper management. Extremely important. It's for any BI data warehouse project. It's very well known, but still not always, not all companies follow this, I would say, rule. Also very important to clearly understand audience. BI is a little bit different product than standard reporting systems, and it's very important to understand who's your audience. Upper management, financial people, low-level reporting, etc. Because requirement and level of understanding of tool is a little bit different on all these levels. And especially if you kind of understand at the beginning who your audience is, it's very important not to change it during the project. We were not very successful at this, but that's why I'm talking about this. As much as you can stay on a direction you decided at the beginning, the better your implementation will be. Also, one more thing. We noticed that BI, at least again, I'm not saying it's universal rules, but for our implementation, that's what we learned. We probably have a little bit different requirement gathering process than for traditional, I don't know, reports or even ERP processes. What I mean by this, it's very hard, especially when you do implementation of dashboards first time, come to users, business users, and ask them what kind of dashboards you would like to have. If they never saw anything like this, it's not very likely that we'll be able to give you exact answer. So it probably works better here just to ask about what kind of information do they need, how they measure their business. So try to get their ideas, not exact reports. Again, all standard Oracle forms, MD50, MD70, it kind of requires list of fields. Give me list of fields. It does not work here this way. Same thing about traditional sign-off process. When business people sign off on a, let's say, report. Does not work exactly this way for a BI project. We never required sign-off on anything here. Again, maybe it's a little bit another extreme, but worked very well for us. Another issue we found that our EBS or Oracle ERP implementation system was not stable enough at the time when we went live with BI, and it caused a lot of trust issues when people systematically saw problems in EBS system and kind of believed that it's actually BI issue. No, we just showed what happened in the source system. So obviously, it's better to have very stable and clean ERP system, but it's not always possible. And just one more very important thing. Do as much testing as you can. More testing, more testing, more testing. Never enough. As much as you can. Even if you did it, I don't know, in and out, do it again. I know it's always time-consuming, but it helps a lot. It's much better to find problems before you go live. And probably last lesson is training and demonstrations. We made one, I would say, mistake when we assumed that dashboards are intuitive enough for business and people will understand it by themselves, and they really look like simple, but it was our mistake. You still, even if it seems to be very clear, very understandable, it still makes sense to do maybe not extensive training, but at least demo session for every single user who will be using this tool. So that's probably, that's all what we were going to say, and we can open for question right now, right?
Thanks for this conference. I had a few questions about your implementation. Can I go one by one, or you want me to submit all the questions at one time?
No, just go one by one.
Okay.
Yeah, one by one.
Okay. In your implementation, did you mention this is a 11G implementation or a OBIEE 11G or OBIEE 10G?
10G.
Okay. And this is against Oracle EBIS R12, right?
Yes.
Okay. So what are the level of customizations that you did from reports and dashboards standpoint? Meaning, like how much of out of box you were able to use versus customization?
You're asking specifically about dashboards, not ETL and RPD, right?
If you can break it down, that would help us too, because we are on the same track.
Okay. So different in different situations. Like Jennifer mentioned for project analytics, our second phase, I'll start from the end. We did almost zero ETL and RPD changes, very minimal, and complete rework for dashboards.
And that was because of our business structure and our organization didn't fit exactly with the out-of-the-box. Certain things that were used, say forecasting and such, we didn't actually do that in the Oracle projects module. So some of those dashboard items didn't make sense for us.
In the custom subject area, we even called it custom. It's very hard. We did not do a lot customization on ETL. We just brought extra fields, existing fact tables mostly, and we developed maybe one or two dimensions. But again, it was complete rework on the dashboard side.
Okay.
More customization on RPD, more than on ETL.
Okay. The other question I had is, right now your OBIEE implementation, the data model that the foundation or the star schema that Oracle supported, are you treating that as your enterprise data warehouse, or is it like on a data mart sitting on another enterprise data warehouse?
No, it's we are treating it as an enterprise data warehouse. We don't have anything else.
Oh, you don't have anything else. Okay.
No, we have some legacy, but it's slowly dying.
Oh, okay. Another question I had is, or I can hold for any other if anybody else has questions, because I have like 3 or 4 more questions.
Okay, with me.
You can continue, I guess.
Okay.
Sure.
So in your OBIEE 10G implementation, have you integrated your 10G with any other applications besides Oracle EBIS R12?
We have internal sources, external sources other than ERP, but I would not call it like OBIEE integration, because technically it's integrated through the Oracle. We have a system called Metrics, but data flow is through the Oracle.
Oh, okay.
We customized interfaces because it's not standard Oracle data. But technically, we have one connection to Oracle ERP.
Okay. Going back to Oracle EBIS R12, right now we are planning to implement R12. One of the things about the general ledger is subledger accounting. You don't use subledger accounting, or you do use, and if you do use, did you customize for subledger accounting in our analytics?
Right now in our custom subject area, we actually are pulling our financial information from the subledgers. So all of the revenue and margin information that we currently have in our custom subject area matches to the AR ledger, the project subledger, the inventory subledger. So that's actually where we're pulling the data. What we don't have right now is any of the journal entries on the general ledger level. So we do specifically just match to the subledgers.
Okay. And another question is on the hardware architecture. What's your hardware architecture typically look like? Is it like AIX platforms or Sun Unix or something like that?
I may not remember all details just on top of my head, but I know, again, we are not very big here. We have about 150 users using answers and dashboards. And our night ETL incremental load right now takes about 2-3 hours.
Okay.
So, again, you understand it's not huge.
Yeah, okay. Actually, that was another question I was going to ask. Like, what's the data volume that you're thinking, and how are you planning for data retention and archiving and all that?
I think right now, again, I did not check for a couple months already. I think we are talking about maybe 50-60 gig of data.
Okay, 56. And you don't...
That's huge.
Okay, and what about the data retention and archiving policies? You don't have anything yet?
It's done. It's every night production database is archived.
Okay, and purging? So if you don't want data beyond a certain point in your data warehouse, you're not going to purge anything, or you want to keep as long as...
We are not there yet.
Oh, you're not there yet. Okay, yeah. 50
just 1 year data here, 1 year old. We went live with data from April 1st, 2010. So just 1 year data, and like I said, it's 50 gigs, so I expect to think about this in 5-6 years.
Yeah, okay. Okay, that's fine. Also, actually, you did mention a couple of important points, mentioning BI team should be involved right from the implementation phase of your EBIS. That is one thing we are trying to get across to our business side, saying that we should be part of it. So that's a very valid point and very, very good point. So thanks for that. Right now, I'm done with the questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we do have 2 or 3 more people on the line, so if you have any questions, please subscribe back in the queue, and we'll answer them at a later point.
Sure.
Hello.
Hey.
Hello? Hey, we have just a couple questions real quick. One was, do you guys pull any transactional data? Do you connect any transactional data currently through OBIEE?
Yes.
And how have you found that affecting your source systems, if any, or have you guys had any, do you have any advice in that area?
Okay, wait a second. Maybe I misunderstood you. You mean transactional data directly from Oracle EBS database?
Correct, yeah.
No. We have only data warehouse data.
Okay.
Only.
The second question then is, do you guys use any of Deliver or iBots?
No, not yet. We are planning, but not yet.
Okay, thanks. That was it.
And one more question. Did you build any OLAP cubes?
No.
Okay. One more thing. In ETL customization, how much customization you have done?
Like I mentioned before, depends on where. On a project implementation, project analytics implementation was very minimal. On a custom subject area, that's why we called it custom subject area, we did a little bit more. We brought, I don't know, rough estimate, maybe 20, 30 extra fields to the existing fact tables.
So existing tables. So there is no new table. You added a field to
we added 1 or 2 dimensions. 2 dimensions.
Okay. One more.
Which is your team?
Sorry, say it again?
How large is your team? How many ETL developers versus front-end developers?
Okay, it's an interesting question. Actually, internal team, it's a whole team represented on this call. It's me and Jennifer Frey.
Great.
Obviously, we did not do it all by two of us. It's theoretically impossible. We had help from KPI. So on the first phase of project, phase 1, it was 3-4 people max from KPI, including, I think, offshore development. And right now, we continue to work with KPI very closely, and we have offshore help from KPI. So again, 2 of us and 1 offshore resource.
For your ETL extraction, did you hit directly ERP database, or you copy to some other data source and then extract
Directly.
it?
What was that?
Directly.
Directly.
Okay.
So you don't pull it into any type of staging or anything on the data warehouse?
No, it's out of the box OBIEE, Oracle Business Analytics. That's exactly how they structure it. They pull data directly, mappings, Informatica mappings, gets data directly from Oracle EBS table, put it in staging area, and then so-called SIL mappings.
From there and then.
Yeah, bring it to the fact tables.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
I have a few questions here now. My first few questions are around the financial analytics. Did you guys use any hierarchies apart from for the account? You have account grouping, right? The CSV file, the configuration file, which allows you to group them. But apart from the account grouping, did you also have any additional hierarchies developed?
No, we just modified the CSV files so that we made sure to include everything that we did designate as revenue or cost of goods sold. So we did not have any other additional hierarchies, and we don't have them built in our Oracle ERP system either.
But again, we did not do GL analytics yet.
Yeah.
We may need it when we do it.
Yes. At a future date, we may.
Okay. So do you think the out-of-the-box account groupings are going to satisfy requirements, or you are going to have to create a lot of new account groups?
My general feeling is that we will have to customize. Primarily because we also use Hyperion as kind of our main consolidation financial reporting system, and we'll certainly have to group in ways that it rolls up similar to Hyperion. So I do believe we will have to customize.
Okay, and how much do you think it's going to be customization? It's going to be like 80%, or you think it's going to be like 30% customization?
It's hard to tell right now. I say it could go either way once we start really doing the analysis. But
okay, that's fair. And then, but you haven't used hierarchies for any other dimensions also, right? Like department. Do you have a hierarchy for department?
Okay. Actually, so for accounts, we did not, other than the groupings for revenue and COGS. We have used the dimensions for profit center and cost center and such to further summarize some of our data based on our, and sales groups. Actually, we created a completely custom dimension with a hierarchy for our sales organization and how our sales representatives roll up into these different regions and territories, et cetera. We also used a product hierarchy so that, again, we could get some reporting from more of a sales and marketing point of view for groupings of products by, in our cases, manufacturer and the products that they create.
But again, very important point, all these hierarchies, all this data, it's stored in Oracle, in EBS. We just brought them into data warehouse. We did not build anything new, if you wish, in data warehouse.
Okay, yeah, I understand. So those hierarchies have to be done in the EBS, yes. And then right now, okay, so I think I did get a good picture on that. And then right now, are your users using any out-of-the-box dashboards for financial analytics?
Not at this time.
No.
Okay.
Customized.
Because probably one of our next implementation will be like AR, AP, GL, and there is a very high chance that some out-of-the-box dashboards will be used.
Okay, got you. And now, from a security point of view, what type of security model have you adopted? Are you integrating with EBS?
Partially. I would say it's a partial integration with EBS. We have our custom table, if you wish, but we are getting privileges from EBS. Our company structure, we have practically 3 independent business units.
Okay.
Them not supposed to see each other. Practically, we are reading responsibilities from EBS data and assign it to during login process.
Okay. And the data refreshes once a day, right?
Yes.
Okay. And for your right now support, you are 2 people, and then you have 1 person from KPI, right, offshore?
Yes. And it's not only support, it's also development.
Development, okay. How is the offshore component working out for you? Because a lot of times I heard that on the data warehouse project, offshore does not work out so well.
Surprisingly good.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, primarily focused on the ETL side and some repository work.
Yeah.
All of the dashboards and the reports right now are done in-house.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. This was really helpful.
Thank you. Great.
Okay, so it looks like at this point in time we have no more questions in the queue. So if you want to make just a couple of closing comments, and then we will conclude the call.
So again, I would like to thank everybody who joined this call and hope some of our mistakes or information we provided could help in your project. So it would be very great. Again, thank you, everybody.
Thank you. This does conclude today's conference call.